Well, I'm sure pretty much all of you guys are aware of what's going on in the United States and in the world around us. And, you know, we want to give you guys the most information we can about doing the best you can where you are. We totally understand a lot of you guys are living on a fixed income, and the majority of you guys don't live crazy off-grid like Doug and I do. You know, every day in the news you're looking at these rolling blackouts. You know, that could affect everybody all over the world. So, you know, it's just good to be prepared. So what I thought would be good, for me too, I'm in the air conditioning and it's like 100 degrees outside. So we're gonna go to the store. We're gonna go to a bigger store. So I'm gonna drive a little bit longer for you. And we're gonna make a, I guess we wanna call it like a rolling blackout, off-grid little survival kit thingy. I don't know. Leave a comment below if you can come up with a good name for it. So something that just kind of can help you, that you could survive on, you could cook on. There'll be some things like accessories, hygiene products, and some foods like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and some of these things that you might need if the air conditioning goes out, or, you know, who knows, as economically as we can and as healthy as we can. So here we go. All of you guys will get something to glean from this, so you got to stay tuned, because at the end of this video we have a great big giveaway. So I want you to come on, and we're gonna go in the store and I'm gonna go over all these little things where you guys will be doing okay if something happens. Now we're shopping, and we're going to try to find some things that you can utilize in your stores. So how are you going to keep your things cold? I did a video a little while back talking about how we used a cooler for a very long time, and it worked out wonderfully. Every year technology gets better and better and better. So this is a nice sized Coleman chest, and it will keep things cold and full of ice for 6 days. So this is going to be the first thing. And then what I'm going to do is start putting some of the things that we're going to be getting inside of the cooler. Now, how are you guys going to cook? And I use the All-American Sun Oven. You are not able to do that, or maybe you don't have access to some wood and you can do something outside, or a grill. How about one of these propane stoves? It works out great. So all I'm going to need is a couple of these tanks, and you guys will be able to cook for a while. All right, it's $25 and almost $10, so almost $35. And then you have a way to cook. And I can't say enough about these utility lighters. They work out great. 88 cents. This is our little off-grid store. And now, so now with all this heat and everything, and you guys don't have access to maybe anything keeping cool, your refrigerator isn't working, I'd really suggest getting something like a thermo type drink dispenser, so it can make things and keep them hot or cold. They're insulated really well, and I think this one is $14, and it has like a little vacuum sealed top. You can carry it around, keep things cold. We'll add this one too. So now I want to bring you to one of the things that's true to my heart that I cannot live without, living off-grid all these years, 13 years we've been living off-grid, and that is a headlamp. And they have our favorite brand here, which is Coast. So this is amazing because it has a USB charger on it, and it also has rechargeable batteries. The Coast headlamp is a definite necessity. It is $38, but it is worth every penny of it because it's waterproof. You will use it all the time, and if you don't have any lights, this is your go-to. So, headlamp by Coast, going in my pack. So I was really looking for solar lights. I had these outside, and the sun is just charging them. You don't need batteries, you don't need electricity, you don't need any engines, you don't need anything. Just the sun, and then all you're gonna do at night, you can bring them in, and then there you go, you're gonna have light. Now if you did need light and it was starting to get dusk out, these usually don't light up until it gets totally black. So all you need to do is cover it for a little bit and then open it, and then it would generally work fine. And then that way you'll have lights in your house and you can just put them out during the day and then they can charge up and then bring them in at night, and there you go. And you know, you need candles. And a lot of you guys know I like these flameless LEDs. They work out great. We'll put that in there too. And before we get our groceries, let's talk about hygiene products. Let's say you're on a budget, or maybe you could only get one thing. This is what I would get. The Dr. Bronner's, the liquid soap, it has 1,000 uses. You could do it to do your laundry, you could do it to brush your teeth, you could use it for hand soap, you can use it for body soap, you could wash your dog with it, you could use it, it's safe enough to use for pests on your organic gardening. So I would highly recommend this one. So this is what's going in my pack. It's so hot outside, you guys need that air circulation. So look at all these options and fans. So this one here, it's got 3 speeds and it's a USB or battery. So you can do either one on this one. So you have options. Now what I want to do is get in the nitty-gritty, feed our bellies. And so I'm going to kind of do breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you guys. So the first thing we're going to start with is oats. So right here is some organic quick oats. They're $3.28. The one thing about the quick oats is you can let them soak overnight. So let's say you don't have a way to cook your foods. You could go ahead and soak them in some water overnight, and then in the morning they'll be ready to eat. So that would be an option. Now I want to add something to my oatmeal, or you don't necessarily even have to add it to the oatmeal. And that is going to be chia seeds. These are going to give you so much bang for your buck. For just a tablespoon or 2, they are so high in protein. You're going to get calcium, all the vitamins and minerals. Put it in some water and let it soak overnight, or just for like an hour or 2. It kind of gets really gelatinous. And then you could add some type of sweetener to it. If you added raw honey or some maple syrup, it tastes amazing. And then we're going to add some nuts. So I'll show you what we'll do with it next. Next thing I'm going to add to my stores are some nuts. These will, if they're kept cool, they'll store very well. As well as adding it to your oatmeal, you can have them as a snack, or we're going to add some things and you can turn this into a trail mix. So I'm going to add this to my stores. So this big bag is $9. Your human body, we have a lot of salt, right, inside of us. So we need salt. We need those good minerals. And we want a salt that is unrefined, that has kept all those wonderful vitamins and minerals that the human body needs. You guys know from watching the channel, my salt of choice is Redmond, real salt. But if you go to a store and you don't have access to getting it, the other choice that I would do would be the Himalayan pink salt. Put a little pinch in my water, you're going to get a lot of those, you know, trace minerals that your human body needs, as well as your calcium, your magnesium, your potassium. So this is what I would get. So I'm going to put the pink Himalayan salt in there right now. We have one more thing we're going to add to our breakfast. So the next thing I'm going to add to my stores are dried fruit. So I'm going to pick some raisins. My choice would be organic raisins if you could get them. If you can't, then I would just go with regular raisins here. They don't have a lot of sugar or anything added to them, and they're naturally sweet. You can add them to your walnuts for a trail mix. You could add them to your oatmeal, have them as a snack. So let's add some dried fruit. So let's say, you know, this is all the food you have as your oatmeal for breakfast. You're getting really tired of oatmeal. You can add a little zing to your oatmeal by adding some peanut butter. Now, I talk about the high pesticide load because the shell of the peanut is very porous and it soaks up a lot of the pesticides. So I really do prefer the organic. But you guys, you know, get what you can get, and also look at the ingredients. Make sure, like this one here, it's only going to have like nuts and salt in it. So a more natural one would be better. Just read your ingredients to make sure that there's not a lot of other, let's see, a lot of junk in it. So I would choose this one. I'm a big advocate of teas. So for breakfast, you might want a tea to start your day. So if you're on a budget, you know, any of these teas we can try. Here's a black tea. And if you want to start making kombucha, you can make it with your black tea, as well as I would get a green tea. So here, it's $2.48. This one was 80 of them for $3.48. And then I would also add, here's chamomile for $3.72. And the chamomile could help you if you had an upset stomach, if you are stressed and you want to relax at the end of the day, or possibly help if you were suffering from a fever that could help break a fever. So these would be good things you could probably add to your store. Next, we're going to move on to lunch. So I thought we can add some flour. So something with flour that you could make some flatbreads possibly. I did a video on sweet potato flatbread. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. Only just a few ingredients. On this, you're going to need some salt, you're going to need some oil, and you're going to need flour, and you're going to need water. How easy is that? So I want you to look at this King Arthur. Okay, all-purpose flour. See that word unbleached? That means it's good. It's unbleached. And it is unbleached hard red wheat flour, and that, you know, is pretty much it in here. This guy here, read what it says. Bleached and enriched. So it was bleached with chemicals, and it was enriched because it was depleted of all of its wonderful nutrients. Then they had to add more into it. So this is a very highly processed flour that is void of probably any nutrition, hardly at all. This is a much, much better choice. There's one ingredient, water, that we're going to need to use for this. And if the grid goes down or something happens, we need to make sure we have good purified water. So we're going to get something to help you have nice clean water to drink and to make your sweet potato or your regular flatbread. We also have to look at if something happens to our water system. You never know that you can have some good purified water. So if you don't have a Berkey filtration system or clean drinking water, getting a filter, you know, you can get a pitcher filter that you could put some water in so that it could kind of clean it out, could work. So here is one for 10 cups for $25. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in our stores, and that way you can have some good filtered water. Say no to canola oil. It is so bad for you. So if you guys are using this, you need to switch. It is extracted using a chemical called hexane, and then it's very highly processed. And then when you heat it up, it gets very unstable, and it can produce lots of these crazy chemicals that are terrible for you, like benzene and formaldehyde, and you know what they use formaldehyde for, right? And the ones that I like to use are over here, are like coconut oil, because it's a good saturated fat. You can use duck fat, extra virgin olive oils, like so. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a coconut oil. So you made your flatbread, you want to make a sandwich, or you can make a pizza with it. How about for 92 cents here, you'll get a very nutrient-dense sardine. You can put that in with your flatbread, you can make it into a pizza, and you're going to get a lot of health out of it, and it tastes just like fish, especially if you heat it up. Heat it up in your little burner, it'll taste great. Put a little salt on it. Mwah. If you guys don't have the means to can your tomatoes, tomato paste are a great thing to add to your stores. I do store a lot of these in 5-gallon buckets of the tomato paste because it's a good option if you want to make like sloppy joes, or if you're going to, you can make it into sauces. You can go ahead and add it and make it into soups and stews. It just adds good flavor. Just adding a little salt to it can really, you know, make it taste wonderful. You could spread on your pizza. You'll have a lot of uses with this little pan for 62 cents. So now we need to add some kind of shelf-stable cheese, because if we don't have refrigeration. So you see a lot of these grated Parmesan cheeses, they add a lot of fillers and cellulose powder, which is basically wood pulp, to them. This brand, I think it's called 4C. There's no cellulose or fillers put into it. So now with that flatbread, you guys can go out in your yard and forage, get some dandelion greens or some lamb's quarter, but make sure you know what it looks like. You know, you can get greens from outside to put in your sandwich. You can also, if you have onions, whatever you got at home, you know, put those things in there. Or just have a peanut butter sandwich. You know, just kind of think about some things you can do, but this way you have the flour to make the flatbread and you can do a lot with it. Get a nice bag of basmati or jasmine rice, making sure it is not enriched because we're having dinner now. So for dinner, we're gonna have rice and beans. So we're gonna get some black beans. You're gonna get so much more by buying them dried. A lot of people have gastric problems. You get gas and bloating when you eat beans because they may not have been processed properly. So it's really important to soak them at least for 24 hours, 12 hours at least, but at least 24 hours. Soak them in water and rinse them off a couple times and then boil them till they get soft, and that can alleviate a lot of that because it produces these things called anti-nutrients that actually will start sucking a lot of the minerals from your body, and because it's a lot to digest. So black beans are gonna go with our rice. And we all need a little zing in our life, and this will last a long time. How about a little Cholula? This is my kid's favorite, so we'll add this into our little arsenal. It'll add a little fun into, a little spice into your life if we're going through these rolling blackouts. Since I'm here in the sugar section, you might want something to sweeten your oatmeal for breakfast, or maybe your teas. I like the lowest process of all. There's one called sucanat, which is, it's kind of evaporated cane syrup, and it's the least processed of the sugars. They don't have any of that here. Well, I don't want to do a refined sugar, so a good option, coconut sugar, is a little lower on the glycemic index, and it has a more of a molasses-y kind of taste. And it's great if you're gonna bake, or especially if you're putting on your oatmeal or in your teas, it would work very, very well. Or you guys could use raw honey or maple syrup or some stevia extract. Would be great to add to your stores. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in our little cooler. Well, I truly want you guys to thrive in these times that we're gonna be probably going through. And I hope this helped you guys with some things, you know, some little changes you might wanna make, or even start adding day to day when you go to the store, adding to your stores just in case. And Doug and I thought it would be awesome. We want to give away the cooler with all the food and stuff and all the different accessories, from the fans and the headlamps and all that, to one person, one subscriber. So all you got to do is go to offgridwithdougandstacy.com, and you're going to go ahead and just sign up for the giveaway, and we're going to give it away on June 24th. So don't wait. I want you guys to share this video with everybody that you know, and then they can get a chance too. You know, I just want this to go to somebody who could really, really, really use it. So have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.